So Purple Swift is a software and electronics company that is committed to building quality products and offering excellent service. They have over 25 years of experience in the electronics and software industries. And today we have the owner, Derek, to answer some questions with us. And also we're going to watch a quick demo. Take it away.
Hello and welcome to this presentation. My name is Derek Nofke, the owner of Purple Swift. We are based in the city of Cape Town, South Africa, which is home to Table Mountain. I started my first company, CapeSoft, in 1991 and then continued as Purple Swift, so 30 years in business. Purple Swift is a small company specializing in Siemens Apogee compatible controls. Now that the Insight Apogee system has become a legacy system, we have moved into the systems integration arena for the Apogee system. We have 2 USA partners, one based in Boston, Massachusetts, Brian Barmer, the CEO of Intensive, and the other based in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Terry Hare, the president of Intellimation. My objective is to present you with a solution that will open up markets to smart buildings and BAS vendors, offer savings in time and equipment required for upgrading, and provide building owners with affordable options to switch to the BAS vendor of their choice. I will give a brief description of the BACnet P2 gateway and highlight its application for smart buildings, analytics, energy monitoring, BAS, and finally for building owners. I will start with an introduction to our case study in order to set the scene and pique your interest. The client is a university in Hong Kong with an extensive Insight Apogee system, who has been informed that Insight is end of life January 2022, so an upgrade is mandatory. This situation is made worse by the fact that the client has not been upgrading for several years and will now have to pay for a major upgrade of the Insight Apogee system before migrating to the new Siemens Desigo CC. Next, enter the BAS vendor, who would very much like to acquire this university as a client. The barrier to entry is the large cost of replacing the existing system. We will return to this case study later. How do we access data from proprietary systems for smart buildings, analytics, and energy monitoring? With smart buildings, smart equipment, and the Internet of Things, this is a cutting-edge field. Smart buildings, analytics, and energy monitoring all require access to data from the whole system, not just the parts that are BACnet compatible. Everybody wants to upgrade for some reason or other. Perhaps the software is getting a bit old and will not run on the latest operating systems, or maybe your BAS software has reached end of life and is no longer supported by the vendor. You might want to employ more energy-efficient controls that use less electricity and help to save our planet. Some may want to expand their building office space and add more controls, but do not want to purchase legacy controls for the expansion. They want to buy new, up-to-date, BACnet-compatible controls. If you have a proprietary system, you may be stuck, because to upgrade to a new system, often you have to replace the whole existing system, and all the equipment that is already there goes to waste or gets sold by the installer to somebody else. You may wonder why an aging control system is worth saving. Well, the Apogee system is a superb design built with very well-made components that just keep on working. What other system has had a commercial lifespan of more than 25 years? The challenge is that the Siemens Apogee system, often referred to as Insight, is a proprietary system which is closed, so we cannot freely communicate with it. To get data out of it is expensive. The industry's answer to the problem of proprietary protocols was the development of the BACnet protocol back in 1995. This brings us to the solution, the BACnet P2 gateway. It will connect any BACnet-capable device or system to the Insight Apogee system, which includes all the panels and all the TECs buried in the plant rooms and ceilings of your buildings. You can collect trend data, change set points, or simply monitor the values. What does a typical system look like? At the top, you have your BACnet-capable software. It has a BACnet client built in. How do you connect to the Insight Apogee system? Drop a BACnet P2 gateway in between and everything works from there. So what sets BACnet P2 apart? We are the lowest cost solution for any medium to large installation. For small systems, we may be more expensive, but as soon as there are 5 or more panels, we will be the cheapest. Some of the alternate gateways require point mapping that is not trivial to configure, often so much so that folks just give up. Our product does auto mapping, 0 engineering time required. Our system uses native P2 protocol, so we can achieve the same speeds and scalability as the Insight system. We have installed at sites with more than 200 panels, and the gateway performs at the same speeds as Insight. No Apogee downtime. The BACnet P2 gateway can be added to your Apogee system and a new BAS installed without any interruption on the live Apogee system, something not possible with any rip and replace BAS upgrade. BACnet P2 is a software gateway written for Linux. It runs on a dedicated Linux device, such as the NUC, or may be installed as a virtual machine on a Windows PC. However, for our USA customers, we do offer our software pre-installed on a Linux device. Some of the features include BACnet integration with the proprietary Insight Apogee system, full read and write capabilities. Our gateway appears on the Insight system as a native P2 device. If you switch it off, then Insight shows it as disconnected. If you switch it back on, then the status reverts to connected. The Insight is not required and so can be removed, and the BACnet P2 will continue providing full access to the Apogee panels without the Insight PC. No hidden costs or annual fees. This is a once-off purchase. For analytics or energy monitoring, a read-only license is available at a discounted price. 90-day demo licenses are available for try before you buy. BACnet P2 enables 3 market segments: the smart buildings, analytics and energy monitoring segment, the building automation and controls market, and finally the building owners. So now we can talk about the benefits of BACnet P2. Some general benefits include: you are independent of the Insight Apogee vendors. You don't have to rely on them to come out and make adjustments for each thing that you require. The full Apogee system data is at your fingertips. As I mentioned before, 0 engineering time for point mapping. Only 1 gateway device is required for each Apogee Building Level Network, or BLN. Some of the competing gateways require many gateways to be installed, wired and commissioned, versus our single gateway solution. For the building analytics market segment, you get high volumes of data as required, but without degrading the Apogee system performance. You may now have the opportunity on sites where the Apogee closed system was an obstacle. The BACnet P2 read-only license option helps to keep the cost of implementation down. For the building automation segment, as a controls company, although you would like to rip and replace the whole system, you can acquire the new client with the lower upgrade fee. You still get to replace the Apogee equipment as it fails over, say, the next 10 years, until eventually you have transitioned the whole site to your own product. So although your initial sale is less lucrative, you have, however, secured the annual service contract for several more years than might have been the case. For the building owner, you gain the freedom to select a BAS vendor based on performance and cost. You can switch vendor. The power is in your hands. With the proprietary system that you own, you have been locked into a single vendor, their fees, their timetable. This option gives you freedom. Your substantial investment in Apogee equipment remains intact. No need to rip and replace. You can expand or maintain your system by investing in the latest BACnet equipment. No need to extend your investment in legacy product by purchasing more Apogee devices. For your maintenance contract, you are now free to select a service provider. You are no longer locked into a single vendor. So finally, we get to the case study that I introduced earlier. For our case study, I have selected our first installation at a university in Hong Kong. This is a large site with more than 200 panels and 2,000 TCs. The estimated rip and replace device cost for the TCs would have been in excess of $450,000 in materials alone, labor and engineering time excluded. For a complete BAS replacement, the costs would have been in excess of $1 million. For some years, the new BAS vendor had been keen to acquire this university as a client, but the expense of replacing the whole Insight system was a major obstacle. As you can imagine, getting the client to pay for a new system when the current system is working well is not easy. The Insight end of life introduced a most welcome boon, as there was now a budget of $320,000 on the table. Once the upgrade cost savings that the BACnet gateways brought to the party were included, everything changed. Now, the new BAS vendor had an easy route to acquiring the site. He could compete on price. At the site, the TCs were not easily accessible, often being installed behind skimmed ceilings. Another consideration was the airflow sensors built into the TCs. These Venturi sensors are used to control the airflow in the ducting. This would have increased the upgrade costs. It was important to minimize any possible disruption of operations at this busy university. The solution which the client accepted was to upgrade the Insight system to a modern BAS system using BACnet P2 gateways. This enabled the client to upgrade while retaining all those TCs without having to touch them. The upgrade was done at a lower cost than the Desigo quoted price, and the new service contract was less than half the previous price. The final result was a smooth transition from the Insight to the new BAS system. There was no downtime on the Apogee system because it was retained online throughout the upgrade. The client achieved a saving of $75,000 on the system upgrade and can look forward to a service contract saving of $90,000 per year going forward. In conclusion, BACnet P2 enables Insight Apogee system owners to reap the benefits of moving to BACnet and its promise of flexibility and choice while saving you time and money. Thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to answering your questions.
Okay, thank you so much, Derek. Before we get started on the Q&A today, Purple Swift is giving a $5,000 discount on a BACnet P2 license. So if you're interested in this item, you want it to be yours, comment Purple Swift rocks in the chat box, then you will be eligible for this drawing after the Q&A. Good luck, everyone. So Derek, we're going to jump into some questions here. The first one is, I have a Siemens Insight system with panels on multiple Ethernet and RS485 networks. Would a single BACnet P2 work for me?
You need a single gateway for each BLN. So if the site has got several BLNs, large sites generally have a lot of BLNs, then you will need a gateway for each of the BLNs. So not just one gateway.
Perfect. Thanks so much. And you mentioned something about pay, or there was a trial period or something about, can I try this solution before making a purchase? Can you explain that a little further, how that works?
All right. So you can download the software and try it out. It doesn't cost anything. It's free. However, if you're on a 485 system, a lot of the BLNs are 485, then you will need to buy some hardware to connect to the system. If you're on Ethernet, then you can try it out normally without any expense. You just put a virtual machine running the software on the Ethernet network, and you can connect and try it out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Derek.